ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Voices from the Grid coverage here at Power Morphicon. It is day 3, it's the final day, and we're actually starting it off not with some Power Rangers, but with some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because we have the 2014 Shredder right here, Tohoru Masamune.
Yes.
I said it right?
You said it perfectly.
All right.
Best pronunciation I've heard all morning.
All right. So, first off, thank you for coming out to Power Morphicon and doing this interview with me. What's it been like actually being out here at Power Morphicon, which is, yes, it's primarily a Power Rangers convention, but being able to be here and be able to interact with the fan bases, because in a way, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, they do kind of bleed into each other. I know with my podcast co-host, we're about to go in space. We're actually going to cover the episode of when the Turtles and the In-Space Rangers collaborate together and cross over. And then we have the comic books now as well, doing the TMNT Power Rangers. So what's it like, not being from Power Rangers, but being from TMNT, coming and doing a Power Ranger convention like this?
Well, it was really interesting because, I remember my agent called talking about this. And I remember saying, Power Rangers conference, and I go online. Like, okay, but I said, sure, I'll show up, and I know Scott, so I figured I'll do it for Scott. I'll do any Scott shows, and then I didn't realize they'd set up this little neighborhood here. We have a little Ninja Turtles. Yeah. It's like a little part of town, right?
Yeah, because you have Ernie Reyes Jr. right there. You have blanking on the name of the guy who's literally right behind you.
Nick.
Nick. Yeah, we have Nick, who is Michelangelo in the first 2 movies.
So that was really nice. And Minai's here with me, and so I figured, okay, this will be fun. Now it's interesting when I showed up, and I got to say, I said, I told you, I'm just going to show up and whatever. I also I'm very much, my personality is I always like to explore new worlds. So it kind of felt like that to me because admittedly I have not, I've never really done a deep dive into Power Rangers. Even remember, being a kid in Japan, something like that, and seeing it. But personally, I was never deep in the fandom. So it was cool to explore this because I've always seen Power Rangers people at pretty much most of the conferences I've been at, or conventions. My dad was a scientist, so most of the symposiums I've been at. Anyway, so I went there, and so I came here. And I got to say, I think personality-wise and mentality-wise, it's very similar. Like, it's really like-minded group. And I got to say, I said to my agent, I am shocked at how at home I feel. And now, here on Sunday, I'm walking around saying, oh yeah, this is a Power Rangers convention. Like, I was walking around this morning, and then I was reminded that, because I feel like I've really felt at home. And I've been really educated very much on the whole crossover, and I'm working on my own little projects, in sort of my own backstory as Shredder, blah blah blah. And so now I'm going to probably do a deep dive after this of all those episodes you're talking about, right? And so this is really exciting for me, and I realized, wow, my world's kind of opened up. I've been meeting a lot of these Power Ranger people, and I feel like it's been a fantastic experience. And I got to say, first of all, the vibe is great. I love Power Ranger, the personality-wise. I mean, it's a real generous, genuine crowd. I mean, I totally dig it, and I just feel, as I was saying, I'm shocked at how at home I felt this weekend.
Awesome. Yeah. So let's talk to Turtles right now. So you were Shredder in the 2014 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Right.
But you did not actually come back for the sequel.
Yeah.
It was Brian T.
Yeah.
For something like that, did you and Brian actually share notes or anything from from how you were doing the character in the 2014 film, and then for what he was doing in the sequel?
Yeah, it's just like going to put on the back of the quarterback,
Yeah. Because the reason I asked this question,
they're in the quarterback room.
Yeah, well, the reason I asked this question is because recently we learned that John Barenthal was training with Thomas Jane.
Yeah.
And Barenthal was training with him to get ready to come back to Marvel as the Punisher.
Right.
And obviously Thomas Jane was the Punisher in the early 2000s.
Yeah. Well,
that's why the question kind of.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it's actually an excellent question. Because number one, it wasn't up to me. Like I'm one of these people. I mean, Hollywood's just such a weird animal, and maybe I like this. I never know what's going to happen next. So nothing surprises me anymore. And they were really great. But I basically, I mean, fortunately, a lot of times with these things, you just read about it.
Yes.
You know, oh, by the way, you've been replaced. You read about it. Ryan T, you know, but they called me first and they talked me through it. But to me, it's like that's what they're doing. It's all business. I get it, you know, and so I was fine with it. I just thank them because I kind of feel like, you know, just the directional changes that were made. I feel like this was my shredder, and I got to play. They let me play it like I wanted to, which is pretty amazing. Like I never said, no, that doesn't work. I said, this is what I'm saying. They said, great. And I thought that was pretty awesome. I like, if I was a kid in the backyard, this is how I would have played Shredder, which is kind of cool to be able to do that. So anyway, with that being said, so I just, and usually my personality is such that I was like, it's business, I understand that, and I say, dude, and they were even trying to explain, you don't have to explain anything, man, because you have no idea how much you changed my life for the better. So I don't, you know, I'm just spoiled at that point if I'm starting to complain, right? It's like, you know, oh, could be the sequel, you know, whatever. And I said, okay, well, that's my movie, the 2014. So that being said, I usually say, all right, well, great, that's what it was, and you do whatever you want. I'm here if you need it. And so in that question, there wasn't anything. I think they made a lot of creative changes, you know, everything, right? And even Jeb Zane, who was casting, and the composer, there are a lot of directional changes. It's a big time movie making, such a mess. You have no idea. You guys have no idea. It's insane. So anyway, but that being said, there wasn't a whole lot. I said, you do your thing. I said, if you want to, I'm here if you need me. But I think they just said, there are a lot of changes they wanted to make. And I said, if you need me, I'm here. But that didn't happen.
But, so in that movie, would you consider the most wholesome moment of the movie when the turtles are in the elevator, and then Mikey starts like playing with nunchucks, and then all of a sudden they're all like doing this like little acapella thing, and as they get up to do the battle with Shredder, like I know you're the villain, you're the bad guy, but like how cool is like kind of a moment like that?
I think it was. I mean, when I watched that, and I didn't see that till the movie. I wasn't aware that had happened. But just it was almost perfect, right? The way it builds up, because you kind of don't know what's going on. And to my understanding, I may be wrong, but I think it just happened, right? And they said, "Oh, shoot, we got to film this."
I don't know.
I believe it's just something they were messing around, and they said, and they turned into a thing. I don't know. That I'm just speaking from the fan point of view. I don't know. That's what I heard. I should text Jeremy. Yeah, I'm gonna text Jeremy and find out what really happened in some way. But anyway, then so if we have another podcast, I'll let you know what Jeremy said. But
well, don't worry. The next question.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, and I say sorry to my co-host of Voices from the Grid, but this is going to turn into something else in a moment.
Yeah.
You know.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. So, your thought on the thing about.
Yeah. So but I kind of feel like that. I don't know. Like I was as happy as everybody else. I was like everybody else. I didn't know what this thing was going to look like. It was crazy. But I looked at it and said, man, what a great feeling having a moment like that. So clean and so perfect. I said, it made us. I was a fan, and I loved it.
And it's always good, especially to like after seeing something that you worked on, feeling really good about it after seeing it when it's finished.
No, I mean, the smiles after the first screening is everybody. You know, like you don't know, man. I mean, you spent $150 million, and you're putting it out in the world. You don't know what you hope.
You hope it does.
And it's such a crazy journey, right, for all of us. And I'm going, oh, I guess I'm supposed to be like the scariest villain on the planet. You know, and I mean, but you know, and obviously there's a lot of teamwork that made me scary. And I looked at it, I remember just everybody was like, we did it. It was a good movie. We did it.
And I didn't see it in theaters right away, but like because I'm always a Turtles fan, I picked it up on Blu-ray when it came out, watched it, and I was like, you know, because I remember there's always those people who always try to like bash it on the line, and I always ignore those people. And like I remember watching it and going like, this is fun. I took my nephew, he was much younger at the time, to go see the sequel. And the one complaint that he had was, he was like, yeah, I like the movie, but it's too long.
Too long for
the sequel,
They really,
So, like, because
for the sequel.
Yeah, for the sequel. Like, I took my nephew to see the sequel because it was like, oh yeah, it's just an uncle taking his nephew to go see Turtles. It's like, okay, something I could share with like my childhood.
Yeah, of course.
And like he complains, like he looked at me at one point, and I think we were just getting into the third act, and he went, "Is it over yet?" I'm like, oh, but it was actually so good because we finally got Rocksteady and Bebop in live action. We got Krang in live action too.
But there's no question that first one was very kid friendly. One arc, very easy to follow. It just took off and it landed smoothly.
Yeah.
And you know what? Another clean moment, which I love, was when they were falling. Remember when they were all together? They admit their brotherhood and they're going down. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, and then they realized, like, oh wait, we're Turtles.
We're Turtles. No, I thought there were great moments there.
Now you mentioned, if we do another podcast again, well, I'm wearing a hockey jersey with Goldar.
An amazing one.
And you happen to play beer league right next door to this convention center.
It's funny. Like last.
And again, I'm sorry, Ben, Brian, and Sasha, but this is now a hockey interview now. At this point.
It is. It's a hockey podcast, and that's one of actually on my. I can cross that off my bucket list. I've done a hockey podcast,
even though it's on a Power Rangers platform.
Power Rangers, yeah. But yeah,
I'll get you on a proper hockey podcast. We'll make it happen.
And I can talk about my hockey career.
Yeah.
All right. I for years I've been playing. In fact, I can play my team TBD Bombers. There you go. I can tell the guys. I just plugged you on a podcast. But we play. We won a few championships. We're a good team. Not this year. We didn't make the playoffs this year, but right over next door, Pasadena. I've been doing beer league for years, and man, I love it. I think I told you about my pedigree. I've always been the worst hockey player I knew because my pedigree is I was born in Madison, Wisconsin, and then we moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This was all before I'm 6. My dad gets this great job when I'm about to enter elementary school in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and then he gets another job when I go to college in Boston, Massachusetts. And I lived there for many years. And
so you just went from hockey market to hockey market to hockey market to hockey market.
And I always thought, I've always been the worst hockey player I knew, and I kind of loved the game and I loved playing, but it's like I just thought. And then I came out here, and as I was doing a play in Chicago, and a buddy of mine who played varsity in college said, "Hey, you want to join for some pickup?" I said, "Oh, that sounds amazing." So I threw some, scare. You know how to scare some
you get scared. Yeah.
They said, "Hey, can you get me some shin pads?" And I pulled it together, and I played. I think I even scored a couple goals that night. That's cool. And I remember at that point I said, "You know what? I'm an adult now. As long as I pay my beer league fees, they gotta let me on the ice." And
you paid to play.
I paid to play, but man, I swear I love it. I don't even tell you, man.
Yeah. We were talking about it on Friday, but was it the fact that I know Madison, Wisconsin, big hockey market out there because obviously University of Wisconsin is big for college hockey.
Yep.
You went to Pittsburgh, you got the Penguins, and then obviously Edmonton, the Oiler Dynasty. And stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And then Boston, of course, Boston has been a perennial playoff team the last several years as well. Yep. So for you, it's which city was it that got you to actually start watching hockey and stuff like that? Where did that
definitely Edmonton. Hockey night in Canada was twice a week, and I watched it religiously Wednesday night and Saturday night.
I watched Saturday night every Saturday.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it was I watched it religiously, and for sure. And I learned to skate in Edmonton too. I didn't learn to skate in. Well, no. I was 6, so elementary school. I remember my dad took me out on a pond somewhere in Edmonton, and then so that's where I learned to skate.
I'm already jealous of you because you've gotten to skate on the pond, and that's one thing I want to eventually do at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's terrible, but I do remember that my dad put on some skates and he taught me how to skate, and it was in Edmonton. I think it was downtown. I feel like they freed the whole thing in the middle. There's like a typical park, and they have a pond, and everybody skates there, and we did the whole hose in the backyard thing, and it was kind of funny. So anyway, but that's where that's where my hockey career, which I get to actually talk about here out there on this podcast.
It's funny. You go career like air quotes, and it's like I got to be professionally trained to play.
Yeah, I know.
Because, you know, when I was growing up, I actually started learning to skate and play when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
And I actually was taught how to play by former Washington Capitals draft pick, Rod Pasma. And Rod now works in the NHL, you know, in like the situation room and stuff like that.
Wow.
So that's who I actually learned how to play from. I've also then eventually, when I got older, got to like do clinics with Marcus Johansson of the Minnesota Wild, Michael Neufert, who's now a goalie coach over in Czechia, Dennis Weidman, who was a defenseman in the NHL, Jim Johnson, who played in the Stanley Cup final in '91 against Pittsburgh with the Minnesota North Stars. And then Matthew Perreault, who just recently retired after a lengthy career in the NHL. So I got to like do clinics with these guys and like learn and train with them, and you know, so like I never got to play professionally. We'll talk later. I never got to train. I got to train professionally, but I never got to play professionally. You know, that's something a lot of people don't understand. I got to train professionally, but I never got to play professionally because, one, I'm 5'11", I'm around 155. At the time when I was draft eligible, I probably was still 90 pounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was like, I ain't getting drafted into the NHL. I was entered into the NHL draft the year Obi was drafted.
Well, you know what I think is also funny? And I never had a shot. I mean, I wasn't even close.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're a kid, you have a fantasy, right? But I do remember, you know, once a year we play over at Crypto or former Staples.
Yeah.
And one thing I always notice when I go in there, I love it. Great eyes, by the way. I don't know if you ever played there. But one thing I noticed, the boards are noticeably higher. So it's like, I think I'm going to use the door on the line change. So
what was it? So they didn't have the ice out because it was like off season and stuff like that. But I did a couple like open houses for the Capitals. And
open
they have
house meaning
like for like people that like do like get season tickets and stuff like that.
Oh, good.
So like they bring people in, they lower the Stanley Cup banner and stuff like that. And I remember sitting on the boards and I'm just hanging off the boards. And I go, that's actually pretty far down because the ice ain't there, you know. And I'm like,
wow,
maybe I shouldn't jump down right this second, you know, because there's no ice. But I remember playing up in Brantford, Ontario, this past summer for all hockey for the Walter Gretzky tournament, and we get one game on the roller rinks, and I'm like, every time I'm on there, I'm like just leaning on the board, getting ready to jump out there, you know. And
yeah.
Like, it's just a fun thing to do. You gotta play to really understand the joy. It's stupid, but the joy of just jumping over the boards.
It is. Oh, and a clean line change.
Oh yeah.
Especially too when everybody knows there's a clean line change. Like it's sort of like
everyone's like, yeah.
It's not like the captain. Like it's boom, and it's just like everybody got off, and it's great when it's not even a called line change, where you actually now you get off, and the person that's is ready. Yeah, it's amazing.
When I have to yell at people, offense, you know, to get off, so I can, because like sometimes I'll be out there for like 2 to 5 minutes on a shift, and I'm like, I'm gassed, get me off the ice. Yeah. It's like, or get me off the court, whatever. Yeah. It's like,
but I always like that and I love it when I'm going and I make the call, and I'm over, and I just kind of see the captain. Like that whole thing, like, okay. Good.
Oh, it just feels so good. It's like oh yeah. Good
time. but that ain't gonna happen at Crypto. It's like
I'll do it once just to see if it works.
Oh man, I think I'd seriously hurt myself if I jumped over those boards. I definitely using the board.
Well, one of the greatest ones. I was so gassed one time. I literally lunged myself over the board onto the bench because I was just so gassed. I didn't want to wait for someone to try to open the door for me. I was just like, ah.
Well, I did the whole thing where when you get caught up when you're hanging. Have you ever done that? You go over, but you're kind of like hanging. You didn't quite clear it.
Yeah. It's like
some pulls you over.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's always a great one when you get hit into the other team's bench by accident.
That's never happened to me, but yeah.
I've had it a couple times.
Oh man.
But yet again, I've always been like a third, fourth line grinder.
Yeah.
Like when I realized I was never going to get drafted, I just was like more house leagues at that point. I did play high school, but like I was just like I went to my coach. It's like just put me in a third, fourth line grinder role. And what I ended up doing was I played more of a defensive style. I only scored 2 goals in 12 years of ice hockey.
Yeah, but you know what? One thing I think is really cool, because I've noticed this, because I'm, you know, I'm just getting older. I just realized my reaction time is shocking. Like, you know, like it doesn't matter if you're a smart player, you're where you need to be, but that puck pops out and your stick's not on it.
Yeah.
What good are you?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the thing with Gretzky. Like everyone goes, it's like, man, Gretzky was like a small guy, but he was tough. He was built tough. The reason he didn't take a lot of hits and stuff like that was besides the fact that he had enforcers watching his back, but because he knew where to go, where the puck was going to be.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. It's like, you know, so it's like for guys like us, like beer league or whatever, it's just we're never going to be that level of Gretzky, but we're going to do our best to kind of
it's interesting. I remember this one guy on my team. He's really good, and it's funny. Keith says, "I want you on my line as a winger," and I was kind of flattered, but I realized, you know, but he just looked at me and said, you know, I just want you to be certain, like, and he was telling me where I need to be when. And I remember there's one point, and I was religiously following his, and it was great advice, because people are saying now you're like confusing the defense. Yeah. Like what? They have to pay attention. If you're doing the right thing, they have to pay attention.
And you're without the puck.
Yeah. But all of a sudden you realize if you're doing the right thing, they have to pay attention to, including the goalie. Yeah. So anyway, at one point where I ended up I know exactly where this guy wanted me, and I see him going over, and I'm open, but nothing but net. I'm going, yes, this is why he told me to do this. And he looks at me, and he looks over, and he takes it on the short side, right? And I was so surprised because I almost think he's doing the numbers. Or I could pass it to this guy. Low percentage he'll actually get it. So why not? And so I was a little discouraged, but I went to him and he goes, no. Because you know what happened? When you ended up there, the goalie went just a little bit over there. And he said, that's
actually started to cheat over to you.
Yeah, like, but this is what I saw was like,
you just see the eyes.
Nah. like this is literally what I said. He's looking right at me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, man.
But he's also right, because one of the interesting things is that like we see it a lot in the NHL, where we see like an Evgeny Kuznetsov or Matthew Barzal, they'll take the puck and they'll skate the circle constantly in the zone to get everyone moving. But the problem is that when it's the puck carrier doing it, right? Everyone's just trying to find a way to just take the puck off the stick.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's you who doesn't have the puck and you're skating around, you know, like the guy said, it's like, or like you had said, you're pulling the people around because you're keeping up your, like the number one rule, you always keep your feet moving.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So you always keep your feet moving, and because of that, you're creating more opportunities for the puck.
Because it's almost like, and you know, this club probably also knows I suck too, right? So like, I love it when goalies take me seriously. Like, I feel like oh, he scored up against me, you know. But I think probably, but it happens so quickly. Maybe he just saw a red jersey too.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like they see a red jersey over there, and he probably doesn't see like whatever the color his team is right there as well. So it's like, okay, well, my defenseman's not over there to take him. I'm going to have to cheat just a little.
And it was just he said but he was such a good shot. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
And I'm also thinking now as I'm talking, that might have been intentional. I mean, that might have been like his.
Yeah, that's what a puck hog does. No, I'm just
kidding. You know, but I was thinking like his looking, like in the saying the quarterback, he following his eyes.
Yeah.
And that's probably why he did this, and that probably, you know. But anyway, so this is my rationalization that he didn't just like give up on me.
Yes.
Anyway, this is what I'm going to carry to my grave. That play. That's what happened. I did. I made that happen. I created that play.
But Tohoru, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I'm sorry to my Power Ranger co-host about turning this into a hockey chat.
This is
but
hockey.
It is what it is sometimes. You find people that you create common interest with, and then you just want to talk about.
Yeah, and maybe we'll just have another one down the road, and we'll just talk about... in fact, I'm going to watch it, and tell you what. I'm going to watch that. I'm going to do a deep dive into the crossover space one.
Oh, the In-Space Turtles.
Yeah, and then we'll do another one.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then we'll
we'll get him on, and we'll have him talk Turtles with us.
Turtles and Rangers. And Rangers.
So the hockey paid off, guys.
Yeah, that's right. Because now I feel guilty. So I'm going to actually I'm going to really do a deep dive into the crossover, and then we'll actually have a conversation about it. But real quick, before we go, where can the people find you on social media, and also what upcoming projects do you have that people can look for to see you in? Well, let's see.
That you can also talk about.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just realized I am. All right. Just give me a second. I am. Okay. I like the wording is this. I am doing mocap for. I believe it's significant. You never know. I believe it's significant on a AAA video game. I guess is that the wording? AAA video game under NDA, which I believe is coming out in 26 or 27. So that's what I'm working on.
When we get closer to it, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. But quite frankly, they're not going to let me say anything
until like a month after.
Yeah, a month after. But that's what I'm currently shooting right now. I'm writing a bunch of things. I'm trying to develop personally. This is totally in the background, but I'm trying to work on my own backstory. And I'm trying to develop it. But I'm not gonna really start approaching and pitching it. But it's like my own origin story, my own backstory, and trying to do the Foot Clan centric animation series or something like that. I don't know. But this is very far off. But eventually, I'm doing.
And maybe you can recreate that hockey play.
Yeah, I was thinking like some Casey Jones, like something where I, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
and then where can the people find you on social media?
Oh yeah, just at Tohoru Masamune, TOHORUMASAMUNE. That seems to be kind of my primary. I mean, that's probably the best place.
Okay, that's Instagram.
Instagram, yeah. There's Twitter. Go to the Instagram.
I think everyone's kind of abandoning Twitter at this point.
Yeah, I guess it's not even Twitter. Apparently, Elon Musk even abandoned Twitter. It's X now, I guess. But I'm not in.
I still call it Twitter.
Yeah, and I think, oh shoot, and I never do, and I never check. So that's one thing. Is I don't. If I post something there, I never check what's on there. So Instagram.
So with that, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Absolutely.
I apologize to my Power Ranger co-host for the hockey chatter, but it's just the natural thing.
Hockey chat. We're going to start a new podcast with hockey.
Actually, I do have a hockey podcast.
Oh, dude.
There you go.